Hi, everyone. So,
It's okay
welcome
now.
to our podcast. And here we have the pleasure to have Mohammed from Libya with joining with us. He's a researcher at University of Benghazi, and he holds a PhD from Manchester University in geophysics. Today, he will describe and talk about more of basin architecture and tectonic structures of Libyan basins. I think it's called SEIRT, and it's quite interesting because honestly, I don't know much about it. And he has already published a lot of papers on that. So, without further ado, let's welcome Mohammed to the podcast. Thanks, Mohammed, for joining. It's an immense pleasure to have you in my podcast.
Yeah, I'm welcome. Thank you for this opportunity to introduce myself and my University of Benghazi, Libya. Yeah, thank you.
So let me share the screen and we can go through Mohammed's research. So, Mohammed, do you want to take us through your research, talk about the data that you are
Yeah,
using?
yeah. My research data based on gravity, magnetic, boreholes data and seismic. This is the main. Sometimes core information, if it's available. Uh, this paper, or my first paper, is a basin architecture published in 2021, 2022,
Mm-hmm,
2020, sorry, 2020, in Journal of African Sciences, Elsevier.
mm-hmm.
The paper talks about the architecture of uh, the system of the Nubian sandstone, Silurian sandstone, which is one of the most famous quality reservoir in Sirte Basin. So we try to map the reservoir, the extension, the architecture of the plastic rocks, and
Mm-hmm.
how the fault and tectonic can impact on this reservoir quality and distribution.
Mm.
Uh, so we use 2D seismic data. We have gravity data to show the topographic of basement topography using the gravity, and then we support it with the
Mm-hmm.
two-way time map from 2D seismic data. The
Oh,
seismic data is, to be honest, in poor quality because it's related to 19th or late 80s of the last century.
oh wow.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah. So we have a plan to discuss with the oil company if we can extend the study in this area with 3D seismic data, the
Mm.
core data as well, if possible. So I tried in this paper to also to classify or classify the sandstone into different units based on the position system.
Mm.
So we have about 9 units or layers within the sandstone, uh, re- reflecting
Where do we see
the
the nine
yeah.
units? Do you see the 9 units in any pictures here?
Yeah, no. To be honest,
Okay,
the units here is not mentioned in this
okay,
slide.
I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we can, from this section or correlation, you can see the impact of the syn-rift fault system in the sandstone distribution,
Mm.
which is good for further exploration of studies on the reservoir itself.
Mm-hmm.
This is according to the first paper. My second paper was in 2021, published
Okay.
in Marine and Petroleum
Mm-hmm.
Geology.
Uh-huh.
This paper is also discussed the carbonate reservoir in this paper from Western Sirte Basin. So we have one paper, the first paper in the eastern part of the Sirte Basin was clastic. The second paper was in the western part of the Sirte Basin, and it's carbonate reservoir.
Mm.
So in this paper, I tried to map the reservoir and the impact of the fault system as well in the reservoir. This study is in the Zahra platform, so we have like 2 kilometers away from the Kotla Graben and fault zone with the Kotla Graben. So we can see from the seismic section the impact of the fault zone or the strike slip affect the area on the reservoir architecture
Okay,
and
so
distribution.
from the
So
faults over here, right?
so
You mentioned these faults, right?
I have mentioned two or maybe two faults or two main faults as you see in the seismic section. So we can from the papers we can so see the impact of the as well of the fault system and distribution of the reservoir and the impact of the fault as well in the phases distribution and the petrophysics parameter. So we used like different seismic attributes like frequency decomposition to map the lithology or to predict the lithology from the different frequencies based on the compared with the fault or correlated with the core data to map the phases distribution in the area.
Okay, so
this is
the
in the summary of the paper. So
distribution
this
is this here, right? Or okay.
The reservoir here I have defined based on the log response in two layers as well. So we have two layers within the reservoir itself. Within the Redam reservoir, it is related to Cinnamonian in age, so upper Cretaceous.
Okay. So I believe we did lost Muhammad in the process. He actually mentioned in the beginning of the podcast that he has some internet issues in because of the really hot conditions that's going on in Libya. So probably I'll see if he can try to join. Otherwise, it's a really good study, and we'll put the paper links to the podcast when we are posting on LinkedIn. We'll put the link to the paper, and you can ask Mohammed questions on the LinkedIn itself. With that, I think for now we might have to just end the podcast over here.